Ladies and gentlemen, 30 FPS ain't the wave, and Redfall is appearing to launch at 30 FPS with no 60 FPS option. This is a big controversy at the end of 2022, where we saw Plague Tale Requiem come out at 30 FPS on PlayStation. It ran perfectly fine in my experience on PC, and over on Xbox Series consoles, it hit 45, so some folks were a little uncertain about that, but Gotham Knights was the big talking point at 30 FPS, where a lot of people went, no, like you cannot launch like this. They did anyway. And while the quality of the game, in my opinion, wasn't high, I think the 30 FPS moment was a bit of a dagger to this game. So now with Redfall, this one hurts even more. You see these reports that I've been covering here on the channel, like Arkane's relief and having the PS5 version potentially canceled while Microsoft has denied that claim. I'm gonna call a bit of a white lie on that one because it probably wouldn't look good for them. But Arkane breathes a sigh of relief. They said, we get to focus on one platform. Todd Howard said much of the same for Starfield. It's good just to focus on one platform and squeeze all the power out of it. So you'd be forgiven for, after seeing all of the trailers, my preview, other people's previews, all of the coverage happening over at IGN First, being at 60 FPS, that the game itself on consoles would launch at 60 FPS, especially when we're looking at a first-person shooter in an online environment. But it is not. It has been confirmed by the game's official Twitter account that Redfall will launch with a quality mode at 30 FPS for both Series X and Series S. Xbox, you're killing me. Bethesda, on this one, you're killing me. But really, Xbox is where the conversation is going to be targeted, because look, 2022 was a dagger moment for many people's hopes and dreams for the Xbox console. I think it's fair to say fans have been extremely patient with this brand in waiting for the new generation to truly begin in earnest. Of course, we've seen things pick up in cloud gaming and Game Pass, and that is exciting, but nothing says we are here, come play on Xbox more than big budget, exciting, unique exclusives. And yes, I think Hi-Fi Rush was the beginning of that, but when you look at something like the delay for 2022, where you get Redfall and Starfield push out of the year as we're approaching that game showcase, I will never forget that as a gaming fan, because the excitement was palpable. We're heading into the showcase. We already had a release date for Starfield. What's the release date for Redfall? How is Xbox going to dominate this holiday? Oh, it's so exciting. They're going to deliver. And then they don't. They delay to an unknown date into 2023, and we had to wait for even answers on release dates. And with the developer direct, and many weeks later, finally a random trailer from Starfield delivers those answers, and hype starts to pick back up once more. Okay, here we go. This is probably your last chance to deliver, so let's make it right. And you'd think with the optimism building up, a lot of folks understand, all right, it stinks we have to wait, but this is what Xbox needs to do to deliver the most quality product, which is what matters. But when you're also buying companies like Bethesda, a pending deal with Activision, you sort of need to make a statement to fans that we're going to produce the best possible video game for you, no matter the cost, at least early on for optics' sake, to show that when you buy these companies, you're not making gaming worse. Not that if Bethesda were on their own, Redfall would be a 60 FPS game, but still, it leaves a little bit more to the imagination given today's fate, where we learned that Redfall is 30 FPS. Here are my thoughts ultimately, and you're more than welcome to have your own. This game should be delayed. At least on consoles, it should absolutely be delayed for optics reasons. We don't have data right now that suggests, okay, you're a 30 FPS game like Gotham Knights, like a Plague Tale Requiem, you're going to lose sales here. But in the terms of optics following this deal, you probably should delay this, because I think it's just an awful look, and especially for console owners who have supported you for so long and been patient with you for so long. I get that Xbox wants to reach beyond the box itself with Game Pass, with cloud streaming, and be on every single screen, every single service, taking that Netflix approach. I get it, but do not forget who got you here. And it's the people who are buying the box, absolutely, who hung around with you, absolutely. And I think when you see something like this, it just shows they're thinking well beyond the core base and do not care. And I find that to be a particularly distasteful look. So I think it should be delayed. I know many people will go, it's 30, who cares? It's again about a first-person shooter, which should just be in 60 on its own, but an online FPS now, that demands, to me at least, 60 FPS. And yes, it's showing that they are capable of providing it. They're just willing to do so at a later date. And it stings, especially because I have sort of warmed up to Redfall following my preview, the coverage that we've seen of it. I went, okay, this is looking more and more like an Arkane game I can really get behind. I was unsure because of the multiplayer. Who knows if it ends up fully delivering, but I think I'll end up liking this one more than I liked Deathloop. And to see the most talk about this game be this story right here is such a shame, because the real story could have been delivering the high quality product at launch, and it can still be that, by the way. Thousands and thousands of players arriving, the most played Arkane game is here, and that is the story. But now the story is, wow, Xbox digging their own grave once more. It also gets a little awkward when you're talking about being the most powerful console and you get PlayStation out here just dunking on you left and right. It's embarrassing. To me, this is like when Demon's Souls Remake launched if they just had quality mode. They didn't have 60 FPS mode. I just couldn't fathom PlayStation doing that. And Xbox needs to create that culture. You need to create the culture of prestige, premium experiences where you look at a game and go, I'm going to get the best possible gaming experience here. You wonder why Xbox is being outsold 2-1 right now. Things like this are why. It's about delivering games, and when you deliver them, delivering the best possible experience. When you eliminate all those platforms and you get to focus on just one, that you deliver the best possible experience. And I get it. I get game development's not easy. It's a massive undertaking. It's super difficult. And it is an achievement, a true achievement, when your game does make it out the door. And especially when it's dang good. I get it. But you understand, as a platform holder, as developers, the fan expectations. This should be a non-starter in my opinion. Like, no, we can't do this with the 30 FPS only. And what I feel bad about too for Arkane is they're just trying to find a W here. They need a game, I think, that has a massive player base like Redfall for that kind of morale of, oh, you know what? We've made amazing games in Dishonored and Prey and so on, but they've never really caught that massive multi-million player base unless it was subsequential releases combined. But when you look at this now, I'm seeing a story here that's absolutely going to turn into Redfall had to walk so Starfield could run. And yeah, of course, I'm a huge supporter of Starfield and Bethesda Game Studios, but this to me just smells like the litmus test to make sure that, can we get away with Starfield at 30 FPS? The answer was always no. Fans made that very clear from the get-go when we saw the initial gameplay in 2022. Like, y'all know, this is not what we're going to play at launch, right? Like, we're not going to play in 30, right? And it looked smoother in the new release date trailer. I don't want to run too far away with that because it was off-screen gameplay, but it did look smoother. So, ladies and gentlemen, I feel bad for Redfall because this is likely the testing grounds to make sure if Starfield can launch at 30 FPS. And if they were planning on doing that, I could totally see a reality where Starfield gets another delay. I really, really could here. But the story is about Redfall. Redfall absolutely on consoles should get a delay. And here's the problem is, this is why you can't have a self-inflicted wound like this, because the competition in 2023 is so steep. And now Xbox has just made it easy. They made it so easy for people because you look at Jedi Survivor, Dead Island 2, Tears of the Kingdom, all in proximity of a 2-week window from Redfall's release window. What do y'all think's gonna happen? Game Pass can only go so far before people start to value their time over the money. And if the time isn't well spent, it doesn't matter how many games you give away. You need to provide the highest quality experience and make it unbelievable that that game is in Game Pass, that I can just download it or stream it on the cloud and wow, it's doing everything. This is incredible. And I'm paying $15 a month. Now, because of this news, a lot of people have come to me over on Twitter especially and been like, didn't you play the game in 60? What's going on with that? Now, I'm going to give myself a light pat on the back here because I showed patience in my preview and noted some performance concerns. And I said, I'm going to wait till we're closer to launch to see if we get any more answers on this because I played it on PC. It was mostly in 60 FPS, but I noted during my preview experience where, by the way, we couldn't directly capture gameplay. Not always a red flag, mind you. Like Jedi Survivor looks incredible, but you couldn't do direct capture for that event is what I was told. But with Redfall, there was no direct capture, meaning we couldn't take our own experience and just show it to all of you. We had to wait until it was provided for us.